What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, welcome back to another edition of Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, and you guys, today's a weird day in America. There's been some weird news things going on. I'm not going to talk about them. That's not what we do on this show. But let me just, How do you do a show like this without addressing the stuff that is happening in the world right now? I'm gonna do my best to talk about it without talking about it. Love. Love for ourselves, love for our neighbors. I think this is one of the reasons that I am such a huge proponent of like movies and television shows and like all that water cooler talk jargon kind of stuff, comic books, superheroes, things that like in the world truly don't matter. I'm not going to say that, like, I say this all the time. It's not that movies and storytelling and television shows don't matter. It's that they very much do matter. But we can have these debates, we can have these arguments about who would win in a fight, Captain America or Darth Vader. And it's completely hypothetical. It doesn't matter. Would Captain America win in a fight? Would Darth Vader win in a fight? It doesn't matter who would win in a fight. But we get to have these fun debates, and it's that kind of spirited, lively debate rooted in things that, yeah, we care about, but ultimately in the eyes of the world, don't matter. It's those kinds of things that's what brings us together. I feel like movies, television shows, this is a way for us to connect with other human beings. This is why I'm such a huge proponent of this kind of stuff. Just look at all the toys that I have behind me. Look at all the movie memorabilia and collectibles. For heaven's sakes, one of my prized possessions, a Kevin Eastman, not just signed edition of the 30th anniversary of Ninja Turtles, but he has like a hand-drawn, like a personal hand-drawn illustration of a turtle on the front of the cover. Like that kind of stuff is when we connect with other people, however you choose to connect with other people, that's what's important. I feel like that is how, maybe I'm just naive. Maybe I'm incredibly naive on this point, but I feel like however we can slow the pendulum from swinging so far and wide from one side to the other, if we can keep that pendulum swinging in a small distance, I feel like that is that's our job. That's what we should be doing, and that's why that's one of the tools that I use with talking about movies. That's how we connect with other people. That's how we begin to understand each other, and it's more on the surface, and it helps us to realize human value in other people. I love Jurassic Park. Wait a second, you have a different political opinion than I do, but you also love Jurassic Park? Great, let's connect over Jurassic Park. Let's make that our building block, and start from there. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's one of the reasons that I love movies and storytelling so much. And I genuinely, and like I said, maybe I'm just being naive here, but I genuinely do feel like movies and television shows and like nerd culture and that kind of stuff, that's my brand of reaching out across the aisle, essentially, so to speak. and making human connections with each other and trying to understand people, not just in a political way. I mean, just in a human way. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's watching this and you want to, I don't know, maybe find some way to maybe slow that pendulum down a little bit, or keep it from swinging so far from one side to the other. Maybe ask somebody what their favorite movie is and build a relationship off of that. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm being naive. I hope not. Those are just that's my 2 cents. I hope it helps anyone out there, but I genuinely do. I believe in the healing power of storytelling and movies and human connections over the shared love of things that we all kind of love, you know? Anyway, so I'll move away from that. I will take this one comment from Matthew Wiles. I normally try to keep comments to the end of the show, but I feel like he's commenting on something that I'm commenting about. Matthew Wiles says, "I'm sure everyone is concerned about the recent events, but I'm sure everyone really wants to know when you are sending me your Wolverine. When are you sending your Wolverine figure to me?" Oh, Matthew, my dear friend Matthew. All right, hold on. This is not going to be easy for me to get to. Hold on one sec. So what Matthew is referring to, first and foremost, Matthew, John Boyega has not been cast as Black Panther, and by the sounds of it, nor will he. So this is the figure that Matthew is referring to. It's not a figure per se. It is a statue, and it's a beauty. Isn't that a beauty? I mean, look at the level of detail on this thing. I love this. I love this statue oh so much. And I have it prominently displayed on my desk. So what Matthew's referring to is we have a fun, friendly rivalry? Not necessarily. We have a bet. We have a bet going on. And the bet is, if John Boyega gets cast in the role of T'Challa, Black Panther, then I will select 5 different items, collectibles from the wall behind me, and Matthew gets to choose any one of those 5 items that I've laid out, and I will send him one of those collectibles. The Wolverine statue is at the top of his list, but guess what? It is not in one of the top 5 items on the chopping block, so to speak. Anyway, so we're gonna move away from all this. Let's get into the whole reason that we're here, which is movies and movie news. We've got a few things to discuss today. Today's not going to be a super long show. I'm going to cut it down. I have a doctor's appointment later, so I need to go see the doctor. It's just one of those routine checkup. Hey, it's the beginning of the year. Let's see it. Let's get you back in here and claim some of that insurance money. But before we talk about movies and movie news, if you haven't already done so, please head on over to youtube.com, and when the page loads, type in "Gotta Love Them Movies." In the top right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see a little red rectangle that says subscribe. Go ahead and click on that button. What clicking on that button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. And yeah, I understand some of you are watching this live on Facebook right now. If you're watching the playback on YouTube, you're already there. But here's the thing. With the more subscribers the channel gets, the more watch content the channel gets. And with the more watched content the channel gets, I begin to earn ad revenue, making this show my full-time job. So I very much appreciate you going over and clicking that subscribe button. And of course, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, this show will be moving from Facebook to YouTube, the live version anyway. So just something to be on your horizon there. All right, guys, with all that down and out of the way, now it's time to go and take a little bit of movie news.
What? What?
All right, you guys, we have a few things to talk about in the world of movies and movie news. And first and foremost is this. Paramount Pictures has acquired the film rights to Monty Python's musical Broadway show, Spamalot. Spamalot, of course, being based on the popular Monty Python film, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Woo, what a brilliant. First of all, the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, I would encourage you, stop what you're doing and go watch the movie. It's become such a cult classic. I believe it came out in 1985. Somebody can fact check me on that if they like. I believe it came out in 85, and it didn't get a great reception. It's a it's a very specific kind of movie with a very specific kind of humor. I remember as a kid, the first time watching it, all the adults in the room were laughing and laughing and laughing, and I'm kind of looking around and I'm trying to laugh with them. I just didn't. I thought the humor was going to be set up punchline. Which, I mean, most American humor is kind of like that. But there's scenes where, like, King Arthur and his was that Patsy, who's like clip-clopping the coconuts together. Like, first of all, I didn't get the comedy of, they're slapping coconuts together, and they're pretending to ride horses as opposed to just riding horses. I just thought it was silly, which it is, but the nuance of the comedy was totally lost on me. There were scenes where they're going by people in streams. They're riding by people in streams, and the people in streams have sticks, and they're just slapping the water. Why? I don't know. To be silly, to be funny, and all the adults in the room break out laughing, and I'm sitting there like, I'm laughing too, but I don't understand why I'm laughing, right? And it wasn't until multiple viewings and like I started to grow up a little bit, I started to get the humor of Monty Python. And I adore everything Monty Python. It's wonderful. So years later, after the movie came out, there was a Broadway musical version called Spamalot. Spam, of course, being one. There's a scene in the movie where they do a whole song about spam. Is it in the movie? No, I think it was just a different sketch of theirs. Anyway, spam, 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 the spam, wonderful spam. It's a wonderful song. It's a wonderful sketch. Anyway, go look it up. So they just created this whole musical called Spamalot. I believe it was written by Eric Idle, who was one of the original founding members of Monty Python. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Well, apparently, this film adaptation has been in the works for quite some time, and they were getting ready to go and getting ready to start getting things into development a little bit over at 20th Century Fox, when it was still 20th Century Fox, and then Disney came in and acquired 20th Century Fox, and this whole deal kind of, I don't want to say it fell apart, like it stayed there, but it stayed attached to 20th Century, which now is 20th Century Studios under the Disney umbrella. So apparently there was a little negotiating going on, and Paramount Pictures has now negotiated a deal, and they have acquired the rights to the film. Now, here's the interesting thing about this, is that the film, it's ready to go. The script has been written. They still need a cast. But they have a lot of their producers in place. They have a director, and this is kind of what I want to jump into this whole thing about the director real quick. The director is Casey Nicola. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Casey Nicola. Who was the choreographer on the original Broadway show production, Casey Nicola. But here's the thing, you guys. Let's jump over to Casey Nicola's IMDb page. Even though he has choreographed a lot of stuff on Broadway, this Spamalot movie will be his directorial debut for film. He's already directed one episode of the TV show Smash. So technically, that was his directorial debut. Let's back up. He directed the musical Broadway show Mean Girls. That was his directorial debut. So he only has 2 directing credits to his name right now. One the Broadway musical Mean Girls, which kind of makes sense because he was brought up in Broadway musicals. He's a Broadway musical choreographer. That's his training. That's his background. And then he, in 2013, he went on to direct one episode of the TV show Smash. Do you remember Smash? Yeah, nobody else does either. And now he's doing his film directorial debut with Spamalot. It kind of makes sense, like the logic tracks, that he's bridging the gap between Broadway musical and film. So cool. This might be the perfect vehicle for him for a directorial debut. But here's the thing. With a first-time director, this is more of a high-profile kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this. I mean, I want to give the guy all the benefit of the doubt. I want to give him all the benefit of the doubt. And, of course, Eric Idle, who wrote Spamalot, the Broadway musical, and is also one of the executive producers on the film, apparently everybody there feels very comfortable keeping... oh, shoot, I just forgot his name. Casey Nicola. Everybody feels comfortable with Casey Nicola directing, apparently. So maybe he does have a lot of trust from the producers. Maybe he does, in fact, know what he's doing, and this is the perfect vehicle for him as a directorial debut. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think of Casey Nicola directing the film adaptation of Spamalot? First of all, are you looking forward to the film? Do you have faith that that Nicola will bring the film to life and do it justice on the big screen? Or do you think this is a little, let's proceed with caution here? Where do you stand? Or do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere between? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, our next bit of movie news today, there was a trailer that dropped. It was either last night or this morning for the new Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor film directed by Doug Liman, Locked Down. At first, I was intrigued, and then I watched the trailer, and while the trailer doesn't look bad, it doesn't look bad at all, I'm a little, I don't entirely know how I feel about this. All right, so if you haven't watched the trailer, here's a breakdown. So this is a heist movie that takes place during COVID, during the lockdown coronavirus thing right now. It was written, directed, filmed all during quarantine, in like the early days of quarantine. So Anne Hathaway, Chiwetel Ejiofor, I believe, are a married couple living in London. She works for Harrods. She's like a really high up executive with Harrods or something like that. And I don't know if the trailer specifically says what it is that Chiwetel Ejiofor does for a living, but it turns out he's been furloughed. And the first half of the trailer is just them living life in quarantine. It just kind of feels like a drama of like, oh man, everybody's wearing their masks and some people aren't wearing the masks. What do we do? Hey, he's buying toilet paper. I need toilet paper. Do you remember when that happened? So the first half of this trailer it hits really close to home. Which is kind of, I don't want to say it's surprising, but, let's look at Doug Liman's filmography, shall we? Doug Liman directed Edge of Tomorrow, The Bourne Identity, the Tom Cruise vehicle American Made, Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Swingers, the upcoming film Chaos Walking. Do you remember Go? Do you remember Go from, I think it was 1999? Jumper, with Hayden Christensen. He's got a really great track record for like fun action movies, high adventure kind of thing, right? And again, okay. So the trailer has all of this like lockdown COVID stuff going on. And in the trailer, we learn through Anne Hathaway's character that because of quarantine, because of the lockdown, all retail stores have been shut down. And so all of the high-priced diamonds and jewelry on display at Harrods need to go, they themselves need to be locked down. So now, for whatever reason, they don't give a reason as to why they decide to do this, but Anne Hathaway and her husband Chiwetel Ejiofor are now going to steal all of these diamonds from Harrods, and it's this heist kind of thing where it feels like in the middle of the trailer it pivots, and now they're gonna go on a heist. I don't know if this works. I don't feel interested. The first half of the trailer does not make me feel interested in this movie at all. I want to like it. I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. I love Anne Hathaway. I think they're wonderful on screen, and I think their chemistry on screen would be incredible to see. But in this kind of a story, it's like nobody wanted to watch a 9/11 movie during or like right after 9/11. You know? I don't know. I don't know if it's too soon or if the subject matter just hits way too close to home, or maybe they just focus too much on the aspects of quarantine. Because the way the story builds, at least in the trailer, it looks like they need to establish what this world of quarantine looks like. But guess what? We're already living it. I know what quarantine looks like. I've had to fight people in the grocery store for toilet paper. Like, I get it. I don't need that aspect to be explained to me. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Have you guys had a chance to check out the trailer? What do you think of Locked Down? Are you going to go see it? Well, go see it. It's coming out on HBO Max. Are you going to see it on HBO Max? Does this look interesting to you? And do you think that it might have the possibility of ramping up and being like a really fun, cool heist movie? I don't know. It might be. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments section below. All right, guys, like I said, today's going to be a shorter day. We only have one more topic to cover, and that is this. You guys, there's going to be a Rubiks Cube movie. There's going to be a Rubiks Cube movie. Not just a movie, but also a game show. Here in this article from Variety, let's jump into this article real quick. Rubik's Cube is getting the big screen treatment. Ashok Armitage, I think I'm saying that correctly, Armitage, from the Hyde Park Entertainment Group and Endeavor Content have partnered with the eponymous brand for a feature film based on the best-selling puzzle toy. Hyde Park is also working with Endeavor, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they're getting together. They're going to make this movie. Here's all the different production companies involved in this. Here, let me jump down because Armitage, this is what he had to say about the movie. We know nothing. We know nothing virtually about this movie. Extremely little is known. We know that there's going to be a game show based on somehow the Rubik's Cube. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but I have a feeling it may revolve something close to like the Rubik's Cube Championships in Boston. Check those out. Those are impressive. Those are incredibly impressive. People who can solve a Rubik's Cube in 3 seconds. That's crazy. Not everybody's is like that. But yeah, interesting. But here's what Armitage said specifically about creating this movie. He said, "I'm thrilled to partner with Endeavor Content and Rubiks Smiley." That's their a different production company. And Rubiks Smiley, and looking forward to create a wonderful and complex Rubik's universe. All right, you guys. So here's the thing. Anytime that you are talking about a universe in a film or movie context, now, maybe he misspoke. It is very possible that the president of Hyde Park Entertainment misspoke. It's very possible. But anytime that you mention the word universe in a movie world post the Avengers, where they've created a cinematic universe, anytime you use the word universe, it usually means that it's going to be a series of interconnected films possibly coming together for like a big culmination. So it makes me wonder, what kind of movie is this going to be? When I hear about a Rubik's Cube movie, my knee-jerk reaction is a few different things. One, it's going to be a biopic about the guy and the drama behind creating the Rubik's Cube, or maybe the excitement and the adventure behind him creating the Rubik's Cube, and getting it out into market, right? So that's my first knee-jerk reaction. My other knee-jerk reaction is that it could be somewhere along the lines of what I said before, of like these Boston championships, of like the Rubik's Cube championships. It could be like a series of people who are like preparing, like using the Rubik's Cube to get themselves to where they want to be at the championships. That also could make for a very compelling film. But when Armitage uses the word universe, here, let's jump back into the article really quick. He says, I'm thrilled to partner with Endeavor Content and Rubik Smiley, and look forward to creating a wonderful and complex Rubik's universe. So here's where my mind is going with this. There are two movies that are being conjured in my mind with this complex universe quote from Armitage. Do you remember the movie Pixels? I think it was 2013. It might be. Somebody fact check me on that. The movie Pixels with Adam Sandler and Kevin James and Peter Dinklage and Josh Gad. Completely ridiculous. And it didn't go over very well, but it was a fun concept. It could have been like a really great movie. The movie was not good, but it was kind of a fun concept, right? And visually, it looks incredible. So that's the first movie that is conjured in my mind. The second movie that is conjured in my mind is the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson series of films, Jumanji. Not necessarily the first Jumanji with Robin Williams, but, you know, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, and then, what was the name of the next one? The Next Level, I think. Jumanji, The Next Level. It's those movies that are kind of like conjured up in my mind when I hear a Rubik's Cube complex universe movie. It's very possible, and I think it could be really exciting. I think it could be really exciting if they use the Rubik's Cube as kind of like this gateway passage thing of like, oh, you have to like figure out the puzzle, and maybe like figuring out the puzzle takes you to a different dimension, and you start like time jumping or dimension jumping, or you know, opening portals and like letting aliens come in, and you have to fight. Like, oh, so Rubik's Cube is a toy produced by this one toy company. What's another toy in that same company that's now going to make its way into this universe, and you have to like do the Rubik's Cube to. That could be really cool. It could be terrible. If they do go in that direction, it could be absolutely terrible. But it could be really fun too. I don't know. I think it's kind of exciting. It's a weird, silly, ridiculous idea, and I think that's what the world maybe needs a little bit of right now. It's just something weird and silly and ridiculous. I don't know. The question is for you guys, what do you think a Rubik's Cube movie universe might be? Do you think he misspoke? Because that also is a definite possibility that Armitage misspoke, and he was just thinking like, in this one movie, the universe of this one movie could be really fun, and he's excited to, you know, get his hands in the dough and start kneading a little bit. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to a Rubik's Cube movie? Or, are you not? Do you think this could be really cool? Do you think they're going to use the Rubik's Cube as kind of like a portal dimension device? Do you think the construction of the movie is going to be constructed as a puzzle to figure out certain things? Like, there's so much that they could do with this, or they may go just the simple biopic route, which also could be really cool. What do you guys think? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts about Rubik's Cube, the movie. All right, guys, so that pretty much does it for today's show. I want to jump in and take some live questions. Matthew Wiles has been firing in a few live questions, so let's go ahead and address those now.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
you guys. Matthew Wiles has sent in a few questions, and if anybody else happens to be watching this live, go ahead and chime in with some live questions. Our first live question from Matthew Wiles, actually second one because I've already read the first one. He says, Monty Python stuff can never be redone ever. It's so funny, but a remake? No, no, no. It just wouldn't work. Monty Python is sacred and should not be touched. I will agree with that, but I will put a huge caveat on it. Eric Idle is the one who wrote and created Spamalot, like an original founding member. And it wasn't just him. I think it was also didn't Michael Palin contribute on it, or Terry Gilliam? It wasn't just Eric Idle who created Spamalot, the musical, the Broadway musical. It was at least two founding members of Monty Python who brought that to life. And it is wildly successful. So, and here's the thing, a movie version of the Broadway musical is not a reboot. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake. It's a transfer from one medium. It's an adaptation. It's an adaptation is what it is. And I'm on board with it. If you have not seen Spamalot, it is brilliant. Yes, it's the same idea or general story of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's the same kind of story, but with so much more. With so much more. And I think a musical film version, and well, first of all, the Broadway version is very loud, it's very colorful, it's very flashy, and it's timely. The interesting thing about doing a Broadway show or any live stage show is that you get to continue to retool it. You can update it. You can, maybe the show is like a year into its run or 2 years into its run. You can always change the script and add new lines to update it and make the material feel a little bit fresher and more modern and up to date. So they have an opportunity to do that with the film version. I think this could be really cool. I'm not entirely on board with the director, but maybe it's also the perfect vehicle for him, being that he has so much background in Broadway theater as a choreographer. This movie could be really fun and flashy, and it could be really cool. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see for maybe some set photos or reports from the set, or even just wait for the trailer to come out. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I'm totally on board with a film just the same thing as the producers. I never got to see the producers live on stage. I've seen the producers movie with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder, but I gotta tell you, I'm actually a bigger fan of the musical movie version. I love it. I love it so much with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick and Will Ferrell. And yes, they changed the story ever so slightly. But again, it's the film version of the Broadway musical, right? It's a wonderful, wonderful adaptation. And yeah, worth checking out. Again, not everybody loves it. Admittedly, it does go on a little too long, but I love it. I unabashedly love it. Matthew Wiles, continuing on the Monty Python line, says, Spam is not in the movie, it's in the sketches. That's what I thought. I knew I misspoke as soon as I said that. Spam, 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 spamly spam, wonderful spam. It's so silly and just so weird and ridiculous. If you haven't had a chance, go check out Monty Python's The Final Ripoff. It's an audio collection. It's an audible version of their sketches. Not all of their sketches, but a good amount. Oh man, a lot of the sketches were specifically designed for an audio only experience, and it's wonderful. Go check it out. Monty Python's The Final Ripoff. I believe the Spam song is on The Final Ripoff. I believe it is. Anyway, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's wonderful. But yes, I am very much looking forward to Spamalot, the movie musical. The movie musical. Anyway, guys, so that is it for the show today. Thank you so much for being around. Like I said, today's is a shorter show. Apologies for that, but also doesn't need to be 3 hours long. So yeah, thanks for being a part of the conversation. Thanks for being here. Hope we can all learn and grow and love together. You guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Matthew Wiles' favorite figure would want you to do. And it's not a figure, it's a statue. That is an important delineation to make. Wolverine statue. That's exactly what Wolverine would want you to do. Anyway, guys, my name is Mike Brown. This is Gotta Love the Movies, your daily dose of movie news. Thank you so much for coming and joining us and spending a little bit of time with us. You guys, we live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness in the world, if you have an opportunity to speak kind words to each other, please, I implore you, take those opportunities. As always, in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. I will see you guys tomorrow.